What's up, guys? Zach Parks here, and thanks for joining me for another video. I know it has been quite a while since my last video, but I've just been super busy. A lot of personal family stuff was going on, and then I've also just been trying to be a little more conservative with my shooting and not really just going out and shooting every day just for the sake of shooting and making a YouTube video or something. Today's video is gonna be a little bit of a long one. If you follow me over on Instagram, or you are probably aware that I was gone for a week and a half on a road trip out west. I drove across the south, Route 66, then hit Highway 395 in California, drove up the Eastern Sierras, the Pacific Northwest, then back through Idaho and Utah and stuff. So it was really awesome, fun trip. I shot 23 rolls of film that I just finished cutting and sleeving. So yeah, did all that, and I am going to be releasing a photo book of a lot of the photos that I took while I was out there on the road, but we'll talk about that later. As for now, let's just go ahead and kind of focus on the road trip and everything. So just a few little details. I took the only thing I took with me was my Mamiya 645 Super, which has been an awesome camera. I really loved this entire system. I've pretty much whittled down to just this and the Canon P rangefinder, and I have not touched the Canon in probably 3 months. Most of that is due to the fact that I tend to shoot 35mm and rangefinders for street style stuff and everything, and with a whole pandemic and shit like that, I haven't really been able to shoot that kind of stuff. But I've fully been enjoying this. For the majority, I shot Portra 400 on the road trip. I did shoot a few rolls of Portra 800. So we started off, we left South Carolina, we drove through Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, I think. And then we drove from Spartanburg to Memphis, Tennessee. And I didn't shoot anything in that little stretch, mainly because we were just trying to get out west as fast as possible. So yeah, we drove to Memphis, stayed there, and then we woke up that next day and we drove 12 or 13 hours from Memphis to Tucumcari, New Mexico. And once we got to Tucumcari is where I started on the way to Tucumcari is when I started taking images. I didn't take my first image until we got to Oklahoma City. That's where we kind of joined and started following along the old Route 66. So yeah, we stopped in Oklahoma City and took a few pictures, and then we stopped by, I think there's some footage here that you guys are going to see from Lucille's old service station on Route 66. Cool little spot. But yeah, let's go ahead and show you guys that.
Yeah. Very careful on the camera.
After Oklahoma City and Lucille's and stuff, we just followed along Route 66 for a while that day, and I drove through Amarillo, Texas and everything. But before we got to Amarillo, we stopped in Texas at this little rest area because the sunset was just looking really gorgeous. So we stopped there and fired off a few shots. After that, we finished off the night. We drove all the way to Tucumcari, New Mexico. By the time we got there, it was dark as hell, and we were both just exhausted from being in the car for 13 or 14 hours. I don't really remember how long the car ride was, but it was pretty much all day. So we just checked into our motel and passed out. I woke up the next morning at about 6 a.m., 45 minutes or so before the sun came up, and went out and started taking some photos around Tucumcari. Yeah, Tucumcari is definitely a photographer's just like dreamland. There's pretty much like nothing there that's not photographic. So yeah, you guys check that out now. After Tucumcari, we took the road, headed off on Interstate 40, which pretty much follows along the old Route 66. We ended up driving by this really cool place called was an old abandoned like little roadside attraction, like theme park or something. I don't know, but it was called Fort Courage. And dude, they were like burned down buildings and stuff. You know, it was old. Obviously, had been abandoned for I feel like a very long time. This is one of the spots on like Route 66 that I don't think I've ever seen any other photos of or anything. So coming up on it was quite a surprise. But it was a really cool spot. So we stopped there, took some photos, and yeah, you guys can check those out now. After the little Fort Courage spot, we got back on I-40, just kept driving. The next destination was Two Guns, New Mexico, which is a spot that I've always wanted to go to since I like started skateboarding back in the day. There's this just like legendary pool at Two Guns that people have been skating forever. I regret not taking my skateboard with me, but at the same time, I guess it was the smart decision, because with my luck, I probably would have fell down and like broke something and then like ruined the rest of the trip. Either way, it was like super cool getting to see the spot and make some photos and everything. And if you're not familiar with Two Guns is an amazing little spot. You guys will see like some of it now, but there's a lot of history behind the town and stuff like that. So I highly encourage you to like Google Two Guns, New Mexico, and just learn about it, man. It's pretty crazy. But yeah, anyway, here's a little bit of footage and the photos now. After Two Guns, again, got back on the road and headed towards Pahrump, Nevada. But that is where we were staying for the night, as just like an hour and a half northwest of Las Vegas, and about 45 minutes east of Death Valley, which is where we were headed the next day. So we stayed in Pahrump, woke up that next morning, made our way to Death Valley, which was absolutely amazing. I've always wanted to see Death Valley, and luckily we were able to get there early enough before it got super hot, because the high was like 120 that day. And we were there from about like 7:30 to I think we got out of there around 11, but like 10 o'clock is when we really started trying to get out of there, because it was like 110 degrees. We didn't want the car to like overheat or anything crazy like that, so we were trying to get out of there in a timely manner. But Death Valley is absolutely incredible. If you've ever been there, you know. If you haven't been there, I highly encourage you to get out there. The landscape is just gorgeous. I really wish I could have been out there at sunrise, but we would have had to have gotten up like super early to make that happen. And after driving like 12 hours the day before, neither one of us wanted to do that. Highly recommend you guys checking out Death Valley. But yeah, anyways, I'll quit talking. Here's the footage and some photos now. We drove all the way through Death Valley, which pretty much takes you out to Highway 395, which runs along the Eastern Sierras. So once we got out of Death Valley, we made a stop in Lone Pine for some lunch, and just kind of wandered around that area for a little bit. And then we headed into Alabama Hills, which I was probably the most excited for out of the whole trip. I've just always wanted to go check out Alabama Hills, and it did not disappoint. Made some photos. It was like 115 degrees or something. It was super hot, but it was still rather enjoyable. We hiked out to the arch and did all that. It was a super good time. We got back on the highway and just drove north on 395, stopping off at a few different places and everything. But the next little bit of footage you'll see after Alabama Hills is of the Hot Creek Springs. It is up around the Mammoth area in California. Super cool, geological spot. Another spot that I've always wanted to see. And yeah, so we stopped off there, snapped some photos. This is when we started getting into a lot of the smoke and haze from all the forest fires going on, and this is when we started to kind of get a little worried about things, but it was a gorgeous sunset. Unfortunately you couldn't really see the mountains back in the distance from the Hot Creek, so that was a little disappointing, but still it was a beautiful area, and really stoked on some of the images that I got out of that. So yeah, you guys just check that out. we hung out there and shot during sunset. And after that, we just decided to drive around a little bit more, but we decided to like sleep in the car that night and just stay around the Mammoth area. That way we could like hang out there all day the next day. Parked the car, found a good safe place to stop. Slept in the car and woke up at about 5 a.m. to a severe air quality warning. And the smoke was like getting super thick, couldn't really see anything off in the distance. So we made the decision to just go ahead, get on the road and drive north. And this is when you guys are gonna start seeing a lot of smoke and haze. The fires were getting pretty crazy that day, and we were really getting up there like close to them. First off, we stopped at Topaz Lake, which is just right on 395. If you're driving north on 395 from Mammoth to like Lake Tahoe or whatever, you're gonna drive right by Topaz Lake. And so we stopped there for sunrise to snap a few photos, and it was like pretty crazy looking. The sun was just red because of all the smoke in the air. It just gave a very interesting like vibe to like all of the images and everything. Once we left Topaz Lake, we just started making our way towards Lake Tahoe, and we made a few little stops, just like roadside stops between there and Lake Tahoe. But the first spot we stopped was Fallen Leaf Lake, which my pal Han, who helps out with Restore from Backup, requested. The Fallen Leaf Lake is like a little low-key spot, like it's not as popular, so it's not as packed, which was really nice because Lake Tahoe was super nuts, given it was Labor Day weekend, so we were kind of asking for it. Yeah, just the whole feel to the day with all the smoke in the air and everything like that, it was everything just had this super eerie vibe. I don't know. You guys will see. All of the red cast to the photos and everything. This is probably the last time I'm gonna chime in before the like video and photos and all that are over. So that was pretty much it. After like Lake Tahoe, we drove up to Weed, California, where we stayed the night, and then the next day we continued on Highway 97 north, just into Oregon to get into Portland, so that I could drop Janeen off in Portland, because that's where she was headed. And after that, I just headed home, and I had a lot of complications with the weather and stuff on the way home. I did get to stop at one really cool spot and make some photos, but I didn't do any filming because the owner of the property is just wary of, like, she doesn't want photographers coming up in there all the time making images and stuff. So, I was respectful of her. But yeah, that's really the only like cool photos I got to make in Utah on the way home. So I didn't really do any filming or anything like that. I'll stop rambling. You guys just check out the footage and the photos, and once that's all over, I'll tell you guys more about the book and all that good stuff. So yeah. so that's going to do it for the video and photos just from this week's video. As I mentioned earlier, I am going to be making a book out of all of these photos. It's going to be an 8.5 by 11 photo book, which is my largest one to date, easily. My last one was like an 8 by 8, so this one's going to be a little heftier. Landscape orientation. 104 pages with 67 images inside, and I am super stoked on it. I'll give you guys a little preview of the first little bit of the book right now. So yeah, the title of the book, as you can see, is just West, plain and simple. I didn't really want to spend a whole lot of time trying to think of a cool title. Yeah, as you can see, the photos here, it was a really awesome little trip. Really had a good time making all these images and seeing some stuff out west that I have never seen before. It is a good mix of roadside Americana photography with all the Route 66 stuff, as well as some just small rural towns that we were stopping off in. And then, a good mix, in with that of some more traditional style landscapes and everything. And I don't know, I'm pretty excited about all the photos that I came home with. There were 23 rolls of film, so 365 images to choose from to make the book. I had a hard time whittling it down to 67 images. 23 rolls of film, 23 states. 6,570 miles went into making this little book happen. So kind of feels like something I should print and put out there, because I'm super happy and proud of these photos and everything like that, and kind of feels like a shame to only post them over on Instagram or on the website or something. So yeah, I really wanted to print them and get physical print images in your hands, and the pre-orders are open now. I will drop that link down below. Book is going to run $35, and that's with shipping included here in the US. I will be handling all of the shipping myself. It's going to be an edition of 50. Depending on how those sell, I may get more printed. Really appreciate the support from you guys, over on Instagram, over here on the channel, just, buying prints, buying books, everything. Really just means the world to me. The goal is normally just to break even with projects like this. That at least allows me to keep going and doing what I'm doing on a daily basis, as long as I'm not going in the hole with it. So I hope you guys will check it out and pick up a pre-order copy of the book. I expect them to start shipping within the month, but if you don't already, just follow me over on Instagram. Again, that'll be linked down below. And that'll be a good way just to stay up to date on the whole process of me getting the books in and getting them shipped out to you guys. So love you guys to death. Thanks so much. Super stoked to have you tuning back in for another video, because like I said, I know it's been a while, and I don't know if I'm going to be back at this once a week like I was before, but I just want to be a little more conscious with my photography and my work and everything from here on out. So until next week, or until the next video, y'all just take it easy, stay safe. If you're out on the West Coast, please stay safe. I know it's crazy right now, so yeah, just try to keep shooting. I'll see y'all next time. Peace, guys.